Coming up on State of Events, the latest on Russia and the innocent casualties of war.
The easing of COVID restrictions and mandates in the Bay Area.
And much, much more coming up on State of Events. Good afternoon and welcome to State of Events. I'm Aaliyah Stokel.
And I'm Yesenia Zuniga.
First up today, the Russian bomb strike killing women and children, and the powerful images that have emerged come to symbolize the senseless cruelty of the war in Ukraine. CNN Phil Black reports.
We don't know this woman's name, but we can see the desperate effort to rescue her from the devastation of Mariupol's maternity hospital. She's hurt. There are terrible injuries down her right side. She appears dazed by the enormous blast that hit here only moments before, but she's conscious and clearly concerned for her baby. At another medical facility, doctors worked to save them as their condition deteriorated. Surgeon Tima Marin says they tried to resuscitate the woman while also performing a cesarean delivery. They couldn't revive her or her child. They both died. Russian officials claimed the hospital was being used by Ukrainian troops and all civilians had left before the attack. The evidence shows that's not true. Children, patients, staff all experienced the terrifying blast that created this crater. We do know this woman's name, Mariana Vyshegorskaya. Hurt and bleeding, she walked through the chaos after the explosion. The next day, she gave birth in another hospital. She and her husband have named their daughter Veronica. The strike on Mariupol's maternity hospital has become a defining moment in a war already notorious for its brutality and great suffering inflicted on the innocent. Phil Black, CNN, London.
Despite the Ukraine crisis being many miles away, one San Francisco building is showing their support. The Salesforce Tower displayed yellow and blue lights resembling the Ukrainian flag in February. Many Bay Area residents saw and shared their positive comments on social media about the site. The Salesforce.org has dedicated a page to Ukraine titled 7 Ways to Support Ukraine Now, featuring 7 nonprofit organizations that they are donating towards for the crisis. The company issued a sincere statement saying that they are heartbroken over the violence, despite not having employees overseas in Ukraine. The statement concluded with, quote, "Our hearts go out to the people of Ukraine, their loved ones, and all those affected," end quote. The company has donated $2 million towards the nonprofits helping the country.
Last, county officials announced that most businesses will no longer need to verify proof of vaccinations. Reporter Elijah Reski has more.
That's right, Aaliyah. After spending what felt like an eternity taking COVID precautions, we could finally begin to take a breather from the masks. Some San Franciscans are ready to break free, while others, not so much.
As we approach 2 full years of living through the COVID-19 pandemic, the coast is beginning to clear as mask mandates are slowly becoming a thing of the past. Officials from San Francisco as well as Los Angeles County announced plans to deviate from the quote-unquote vaccine passport as COVID cases dwindle down. This applies to indoor businesses like bars, gyms, and restaurants. It will now be up to the individual business owners on whether or not they want to keep up on the proof of vaccinations for staff and patrons. Some people feel these mandates should have been erased a long time ago.
I get happy because I think it's dramatized like how bad it is, how bad COVID is, to take away that finally and let people like, I guess as a phrase, breathe more, not have to like have so much restriction. It just seems like it should have been like this earlier.
On February 16th, the city lifted its indoor mask mandate for those fully vaccinated. Now, with the proof of vaccination requirement being lifted, still some people are insisting to keep their masks on.
I'm personally not thrilled by it just because I feel like every time we kind of remove mask mandates, COVID cases start rising up again.
San Francisco lifted its requirement for proof of vaccinations last Friday, which was right on time for some St. Patrick's Day shenanigans.
This coming Thursday is St. Patrick's Day, but local residents couldn't help but celebrate the good news with a beer or two. Let's just hope the good times continue to roll on as we move forward from the pandemic.
With everything going on in the world, I totally forgot about St. Patrick's Day. People must have been excited to go out over the weekend. What was the scene like this weekend?
Oh, it sure was. I made several attempts to get a word from some of the patrons indulging in the festivities, and when I asked for an interview, well, let's just say they were in the St. Patrick's Day spirit.
San Francisco community members are rising up in response to elevated levels of crime, including drugs and violence. Reporter Jenny Shao has a story.
On Thursdays, locals marched through the streets of San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood, and their goal was to silence the violence.
Rudy Valentino of United Players and Mark E. Sackett, a Soma District entrepreneur, were the top two organizers of the march. United Players is a violence prevention organization born and based in the Soma District.
I don't expect just because we do one march that it's going to change everything. No. But guess what? Even the drug dealers, even the people who use drugs knew that we was having this event, and guess what they did? They cleared the block for the time and the day. If you notice, they wasn't out there. That's powerful.
Tired but not defeated, the marchers hope this will be their first step in a long journey toward building a safer community.
I mean, I was violently attacked December 7th, almost lost my hand in a knife attack around the corner. And, you know, I would do it again. I mean, the guy came at me, unprovoked, he came at me, but I would go out to defend my building and my staff and my neighbors time and again. I mean, I'm not going to stand for this anymore.
Members of the San Francisco Police Department participated in the march. Among them was Police Chief Bill Scott.
That's where people need to come together to address the issues that cause those type of events to happen. The drug dealing, the needles, everything that you heard that people want to change is why we need to come together and work together.
Mark feels Soma and the city has embraced a culture of we see something but we don't do anything. As a result, people see others in need, but no one gets involved anymore. He feels we need to become neighbors again to help the community heal in order to thrive. Reporting for State of Events, I'm Jenny G. Shao.
Well, Jenny, can we get an update on the boy at the end?
He returned to the car with his grandparents and found his grandmother's car window shattered with glass scattered all over inside the car. And we certainly hope everyone stays safe.
A wildfire in Santa Barbara has caused residents to evacuate. The Santa Barbara County Fire Department issued an order for evacuation due to the fire spreading over 100 acres on Sunday morning. Fire started near the area Hollister Ranch Road and Del Norte Road Saturday morning. High winds gusting at 60 miles per hour are believed to be the cause of the spread. According to officials, firefighters were issued to construct a fire line to contain the fire. Aircraft will be sent to assist the firefighters. The start of the fire is currently unknown. Information on the incident will be updated daily on wildfire.com.
Coming up after the break, how housing and the mental health crisis is affecting Bay Area college students.
And in sports, the lockout comes to an end and a legend can't bring himself to retire. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to State of Events. We all know that Bay Area housing is expensive, and a new Bayview solution sets an interesting example of what could be next for conventional San Francisco State University residents. Most FS State streets are packed with RVs like this, housing students and lower other income people. In January, the city of San Francisco opened a safe parking site in Bayview after city officials noticed the high concentration of people living in RVs there. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, those RV residents now have access to showers, restrooms, and other amenities. In the city, if the city decides to build on this experiment, a similar site in SF State RV residents could create a better living experience. but also allow other students to park on the street instead of other pricey lots on campus. 7-time Super Bowl winner Tom Brady says his short-lived retirement is off. Just weeks after announcing he was hanging up his helmet for good, Brady announced he was returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On his official Twitter Sunday, the 44-year-old Brady said he had, quote, unfinished business, unquote. This will be Brady's 23rd season in the NFL. The surprise announcements eclipsed what would have been normally the biggest sports story of the day, college basketball's March Madness lineup.
Here at State of Events, we have been keeping a close eye out on the MLB lockout. In the first episode of the semester, we reported on the labor dispute between the MLB players and owners, causing the overall postponement of opening day. On March 10th, a collective bargaining agreement, or CBA deal, was struck, announcing the MLB will be playing a full 162-game season. Initially, games would be canceled, but due to a swift deal, the entire season will simply be pushed back a week from its initial start date of April 1st to April 7th. Oracle Park will be packed to the brim for opening day, and local fans couldn't be more excited to get back into the stadium.
Well, I'm really excited, and during the lockout it was hard to stay totally focused on it because I knew at some point it was going to get resolved, but I was anxiously waiting for something big to happen, and eventually it did. And now that it's back, I'm fired up to watch my San Francisco Giants make a World Series run. I'm really excited.
The Giants open their season at Oracle Park on April 8th versus the Miami Marlins, so we expect the usual hustle-bustle of McCovey Cove then.
Coming up after the break, San Francisco celebrates artists through Women's History Month.
And America's favorite Bayou chicken finger eatery is making an appearance in the East Bay, so stick around.
Welcome back to State of Events.
Local women are making history, telling her story through art this month in San Francisco. Reporter Angel Gonzalez has more.
That's right, Aaliyah. In the heart of Women's History Month, an art gallery in the Inner Sunset has found a way to showcase women's creations, and they do it while also working towards a better tomorrow. San Francisco women's artists held its March art exhibit, also known as Celebrating Women's History Month, this past weekend, with jewelry, sculptures, ceramics, and other art creations being displayed throughout the gallery. Board President Pam Borelli explains how San Francisco women artists came to be.
We are a nonprofit historic organization. We've been in the arts community for over 100 years. And it started back in the late 1800s. A group of women got together, artists, to support each other and mentor each other.
San Francisco women artists challenges the culture and social standards by expanding the representation of women and diversity in the arts. Here's what one artist had to say about the value of galleries like this one.
So I think it's so important that women actually have an opportunity to show what they're doing and express themselves and all the matters that women are involved in this community. So this space is really, really important.
With 150 members, the community here at San Francisco Women Artists continues to grow, showcasing community artists every month with a different theme to each event. Open to members and the public, those attending can enjoy and purchase pieces of art.
With the mission to support and empower women by creating a community of artists who support and mentor each other, one artist explains how art has impacted their life.
Sometimes it's the only thing that keeps me going. When we're living in dark times, and to lose myself in creating a piece of art, you can escape from that for a while.
With members ranging from 18 to 96 years old, San Francisco Women Artists continues to be a home for artists throughout different stages of their careers.
What an amazing event. What's the next thing that we can expect from San Francisco women artists?
Well, you can catch the next major event, which is called Capture the Moment, which will be hosted on April 4th until the 29th.
Bay Area chicken tender fans can finally rejoice as the legendary chain Raising Cane's is finally making its way to the Bay. That's right, 3 new locations will be coming to the East Bay in Berkeley, Oakland, and Hayward later this year. The chain was originally founded in Louisiana in the 90s and slowly expanded throughout the U.S. Cane's only has 51 restaurants in California. The closest Cane's in the Bay Area is actually Sacramento, which opened February of this year. The announcement comes with Cane's aggressive plan to expand all throughout Northern California. They plan on opening up 5 new locations within the Bay Area next year. Cane expects the new 3 stores to open around mid-summer.
You know what? I love Raising Cane's. I have one 10 minutes away from my house, and you know what? It's not that pricey.
Well, the thing with me is that I don't eat chicken, so I would love to see some seafood on the menu, just to switch it up a little bit.
And I would love to see it here in Daly City.
There you go, right by the water.
That's all we have for you this time. Thanks for joining us.
And don't forget to subscribe to our State of Events channel on YouTube.
For State of Events, I'm Aaliyah Stokel.
And I'm Yesenia Zuniga. Have a great day.